Well, hello, everybody. This is a very special episode of Dialed In, PC Mag's weekly show about mobile technology. This week, we are talking all about Apple's new devices, which they announced today. We've already talked about the Apple Watch and the Apple TV with our product experts, and now we're going to talk about the iPhone 8, the 8 Plus, and, of course, the iPhone 10. It's not the X, it's the 10. Please bring your questions. Give them to Social Pete. Let's talk about some phones. I'd rather talk about phones than have to write the iPhone previews. So come on, let's bring on AJ.
Hello.
And let's start talking about, you think we should start at the top or the bottom?
Let's start at the top. I mean, everyone wants to talk about the iPhone 10.
Start at the top, and now we're here.
There we are.
Okay. The iPhone 10. Now, I feel like this is pretty much what was rumored, right?
Yeah, this is the thing that leaked almost continuously up to this point in time, and it looks almost exactly like what we've heard. It is Apple's edge-to-edge display screen. It has an OLED display. It has, dual cameras. It has AR. It has everything, wireless charging. It has everything that was rumored, and it does cost $1,000.
Hey, how about we go to, I see they have a video here. How about we flip over to the video, and you can see how Apple is positioning the iPhone 10. That is, if the video flips. And it does not, because the Surface Hub is no fun.
The Surface Hub is revolting against Apple.
Yeah, the Surface Hub really does not want to present this device. Okay, so
this is nice.
So let's go through the basic specs. How big is the screen? What's the processor? What's going on in here?
So you're looking at a phone that's 5.8-inch display. It's basically across the diagonal, so it's kind of, there's like a cutout up top, but it's a 5.8-inch display across the diagonal, 458 pixels per inch, and Apple has coined something called the Super Retina HD display, which is, I guess, I don't know what that means, but it's close to Samsung's, I guess it's like their version of like Super AMOLED. But this is an OLED panel, so what that actually means in practical terms is that there isn't...
They bought it from Samsung.
Yeah, they bought it from Samsung or LG. No, I think it's Samsung,
They bought
right?
it from Samsung.
From Samsung.
Yeah.
And so that means there's no backlight, so when you... So like if your screen is off, or like if there's black
Blacks
on...
are black.
Yeah, blacks are black.
Blacks are perfectly
so
black.
Pure black, or true black.
Colors are super saturated. It's a panel that we've been seeing on the Galaxy S8 and on the Galaxy Note 8. It's absolutely lovely. It's probably going to be a very similar panel here.
It does have True Tone, which is on the iPad Pro. I don't think Sasha can tell the difference, but apparently
you can.
I kind of can. So apparently it's smoother. It's warmer colors, and so it's powered by an A11. The A11 Bionic, so that helps you with all of Apple's new Face ID.
Now, Geekbench results for the A11 just leaked out this morning, and if it isn't a hoax, we were looking at something like 4,000 single-core and 10,000 multi-core. Okay, that's much higher than any previous Geekbench results we've seen.
Yeah, that would be higher. Well, I mean, all iPhones have pretty much scored higher than any Android phone, but that's higher than any iPhone also.
That would really make...
And iPad.
Yeah, I mean, that would really present a challenge for Qualcomm there, matching that kind of capacity. This is the A11 is a 6-core chip. It seems to be a big little design, 2 performance cores, 4 efficiency cores. It's actually the first time they've done a big little, I think. But it just is appearing to scream in these early benchmarks if they're real.
And it's Apple's own GPU, which is interesting after they broke up with Power VR.
They broke up with Power VR, and now they're designing their own GPU, and that also looks to be a screamer. So let's talk about what... Here, I'm going to go back to the overview, because I want to talk about what all of this processor power enables in terms of what I've been thinking of as the face stuff. Okay, let's see if we can get to the face stuff part of this demo. Here's ballerina lady looking at face. Wonderful stuff. There we go. What is the face stuff, and how radical is it?
So Face ID. So basically, it's not. I wouldn't say it's revolutionary, because we've seen similar ideas on the Note 8, on the S8, and on certain Microsoft Windows phones. But what Apple changes is that there's way more sensors packed into the top, and it's better able to actually sense the depth and contours of your face, and that makes it more reliable than, or it should make it more reliable than phones where you can show them a picture of your face and it will unlock. So in theory, that should not happen with the iPhone 10.
Yeah, so the way it works is that, and this is very similar to a technology which Qualcomm explained to us a couple of months ago that's going to be in its new Spectra camera ISPs next year. But Apple is really getting a jump on them. Once again, Apple's ahead of Qualcomm here, where they project infrared, they project dots and then use an infrared camera to do a full depth map of an object. And Qualcomm was talking about it for main cameras as a way to deal with augmented reality,
right?
To create depth maps. Apple's using it on the front camera to create a depth map of someone's head, and therefore to have a full 3D picture of the face that is supposedly more secure than iris scanning or facial recognition.
I mean, it's interesting because I think we saw a similar concept on some of the Sony phones that were announced during IFA.
That 3D scanning thing that the Sony phones
and
did.
That was on the rear camera.
Yeah,
but this is like an interesting practical application of it, because when Sony demoed it for us, it was creating a 3D scan of your face, and you could I guess you could 3D print it, but this is something that you're going to be using every day.
And now, of course, once you can 3D scan your face, where is it? Where is it? You know what I'm going for. Once you can 3D scan your face, you can do mocap. And with motion capture, anyone can be a furry. Yes, you too are now a furry. 75 million furries in the world. Do you, would you use this?
Of all the ways to demo this feature, I can't think of a less interesting way. I mean, it's very visual, like you can see it. But I think the real usage of it can be like you'll scan your face and then you can stick your face into a game, or you can have a moving avatar of your face on, I don't know, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. So I think that's going to be the real usage of it, more than people sending animated emojis. I don't use emojis anymore.
Yeah, I'm also surprised. I'm surprised they didn't put this technology on the rear camera as well, actually, because they did say that the new rear cameras on the iPhone X are tuned for augmented reality, whatever that means. The more relevant factor is that they're both OIS, and so you're going to get better low-light performance on the 2X zoom camera than you did before. Looks like we have some questions.
With the Animoji stuff, do you see useful applications for it?
Right. So basically, it'll track your muscles, it'll track your motion, it can scan your face, and the real useful applications of it, I imagine you're going to see taking your face and sticking yourself into games. So like you can have an avatar of yourself.
AR avatars.
AR avatars, essentially.
And VR avatars.
Yeah. AR avatars, you can have moving profile pictures for social media, that kind of stuff. Beyond that, I mean, this people will use, but I think that's going to be the real uses that we're going to start seeing.
Also, I'm super wonder if they're going to add this technology to the rear camera in the iPhone 11.
Right.
That they're doing it now on the iPhone 10, and for some reason they can only do it, it's only optimized for faces, but general purpose depth mapping for extreme AR applications, once they have the data from a year's worth of iPhone 10 use, then they put that on the iPhone 11.
Right. And speaking of augmented reality, the demos they used to demonstrate AR were, it was primarily a game, right?
Right.
But what's interesting is that we've tested other Android phones that have AR capabilities, and the usage I've found for those has been, you have your clothes shopping, and it can generate a life scale outfit, and you can see if it's your size, or you can look at a car, the car appears in your living room, or you can have a couch in your living room and you can see if it'll fit. So
now, by the way, can I talk for a minute about this bump? Okay. Whoa, that's the biggest camera bump I have ever seen, seriously.
We're gonna have to see it in person. I don't know.
I don't know. That looks like, it looks like that looks like that's a Motorola Hasselblad mod on the back of that thing. What is up with that camera bump?
Yeah, there's a lot going on there. There's what is it?
It's the quad LED flash.
Quad LED flash, dual cameras, both OIS now. What else? There's 12 megapixels. Yeah, there's what is that?
That's got to be a mic. Look at the little hatching over it.
Yeah, so there's a lot packed in there. I guess they've made the battery bigger regardless of what they've packed in. But yeah, there's a lot of power in that camera, and I know that we've tested a lot of cameras, and low light is always going to be the key thing. So this, based off like other similar cameras, this should take great pictures if everything they have here is.
And let me just say something I wish they had done. You see this bump? You see this thickness? I wish they just filled it all in with battery. It's like gone flat against the camera, but just battery, 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 battery.
I think Joni Ive would not have tolerated that. He would have.
No, because
it would have hurt him.
I can't imitate Johnny Ive like Weston does. We have a cameraman who's on vacation this week, and he does this amazing Johnny Ive impression. It looks like we have a question.
So, Sasha, right now you use a Galaxy S8 as your personal phone, right?
Correct.
Which of these do you think has the best chance of replacing it for you?
Ooh, that's an interesting call. I mean, is price no object? If price is no object, then, enjoy your $999 Face ID. That said, I don't necessarily see the feature on here which pulls me away from the Galaxy S8 right now. I don't know. Do you see a game-changing feature in terms of competition here?
Yeah, it's actually interesting because this is only going to come out in November. And so I was thinking about the other phones that are out now, and you have the LG, well, the LG V30 will be out soon, but you have the Note 8, you have the S8, and I can't think of a feature that either of those are really missing that the iPhone
and the
10,
Nexus 2s are coming.
And the Pixels.
Yeah, sorry, the
Pixel
2s are coming.
Yeah, so I can't think of a feature that current phones are lacking that the iPhone 10 is bringing to the table.
But what strikes me here about the iPhone 10, two things strike me about the iPhone 10. In its credit. Number one, this is going to be flippin' gorgeous. Okay, this is not like we're looking at it on a screen. We cannot appreciate the beauty. This is going to be an incredibly beautiful work of art. I will guarantee you that. It is going to be absolutely gorgeous. But also, the fact that it is kind of the beginning of a new generation of technologies for Apple, I think that the Face ID camera is going to be proliferating through Apple's line over the next few years, and AR is really where the future is going. Looks like we have a question.
Can the front camera of these new iPhones map your living room to preview furniture purchases?
That seems to be something the rear camera would be better for.
Yeah.
In theory, the front camera could do it. I imagine it would be awkward to use it like that.
I don't know. That's going to be one of the things we have to check out. I mean, the question is how far the dot projector throws. If the dot projector, which does the depth mapping, only throws about 3 feet because it's made for selfies, you're going to have a horrible time doing it in your living room. If it throws 15 feet, then you could possibly do it. You would hold your phone like this. But I can't see Apple wanting that kind of user experience. I think that's something they're saving for the iPhone 11.
Yeah, I mean, it really makes me wonder if they wanted it, it would be on the rear camera. It wouldn't be on the front camera.
Okay, so let's move over for a moment to what I feel are going to be the better selling but lesser talked about iPhones. The 8. And what we have here is, as rumored, the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus, which look a lot like the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus.
I really feel like these should have been called the 7S, and I'm not sure what's going to happen to the iPhone 9 since they Microsofted it and now it's not there anymore.
Well, you want to know why it's the iPhone 10? Because 7, 8, 9.
Oh.
Hi, I'm a dad. So the feature that jumped out the most here for me is actually the wireless charging. That felt like, I mean, the A11 processor, first of all, that's going to be boom, but the wireless charging. Was there anything else that really differentiated it for you?
Wireless charging, yeah, no, that would be the main thing, and I guess the camera has the same, at least on the Plus, the camera has a lot of the same improvements. You don't get OIS for both, but you do get the dual 12-megapixel cameras, you get a lot of the same features. You get AR capabilities for these also.
But it disappoints me that they are still doing a phone without dual cameras. They're going all in on AR, but frankly, like I've seen their demos of single camera AR, and right now they can only map horizontal surfaces, okay? Because it's hard to do depth with one camera. And yet here's a brand new phone, one camera. I wonder what that's about.
And I guess there's some improvements to display, you know, True Tone, wider color gamut.
Better white balance,
Yeah, but this really feels like the incremental upgrade from the 7. This feels like a 7S, even though they call it the 8. So, yeah, this is basically bringing in all the features that are kind of already on Android flagships, but Apple's, like, you know, wireless charging, AR, you know,
so now
wider color
said,
gamuts.
I'm very curious about what the A11 is going to bring to the table. That is a barnstormer of a processor that leaves the Qualcomm Snapdragon 835 in the dust, as far as I can tell. So I'm going to be very interested to hear what that brings to the table, whether that pushes the experience forward, or whether the iPhone 7 is still going to be the best buy.
Right.
And that's the iPhone we recommend right now.
Right.
It looks like we have a question.
Can you just reiterate the price difference with the iPhone X and these other ones, and really like what you're getting for that money?
Okay, so
dude, you're getting an iPhone.
You are indeed getting an iPhone, but you are you have the iPhone 8. There we go.
Okay,
there we go.
Price
iPhone 8, iPhone 8 Plus, iPhone 10. And so the price differences are, okay, these are the storage configuration.
Whoa, it said models and pricing, or it goes further down?
Yep.
It goes further down? Okay, it's all the way at the bottom, right?
Surface Hub is revolting
all
again.
the way at the bottom. No! Well,
right.
It's $649, $749, $999, right?
Yeah. So So from what I remember, the iPhone 8 is $699.
$699.
Yeah, the iPhone 8 is $699. iPhone 8 Plus is $799.
Right.
iPhone 10 is $999.
$999.
So you're looking at what is that? $100 price difference between these two, which is about standard.
$100 gets you a bigger screen and dual cameras, and then another $200 gets you the wraparound screen,
gorgeous display,
the gorgeous display, and the Face ID, depth mapping,
motion tracking, facial
animated
features,
poop.
animated
with
poop.
your expression on it.
The fox is fierce.
Everyone can be a shithead. Yeah. I'm allowed to say that, right? This is Facebook. It looks like we have some more questions.
How about dual SIMs iPhones?
No. There will never be a dual SIM iPhone. And allow me to explain to you why. Apple wants to make as few units as possible. I mean, as few different models as possible. And Apple's core market that they have the highest penetration in is the United States. U.S. carriers forbid the sale of dual SIM phones in their stores. So if Apple were to make a dual SIM phone, it would have to be a unit that is not sold in the US at all, with a version of their operating system that is disabled in the United States. And I think they're just not willing to do it. They're still a basically US-centric company in that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Though there was something interesting with the Apple Watch, eSIM. That's interesting.
It's the same as in the iPads, actually. The iPads have an eSIM.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's an electronic SIM that pairs to the SIM in your phone and acts as a duplicate of it, basically.
Okay.
But actually, that is a good question because it leads into me talking about the radios and the modems. And so we saw on the spec sheet that there will still be 2 modem versions of the iPhone. Okay, there's going to be 2 SKUs of each phone, and one of them has a Qualcomm modem in it, we think, and is for Sprint and Verizon and China. and has CDMA.
Okay.
And then the other one we think is an Intel modem and is for AT&T and T-Mobile in Europe and does not have CDMA.
So just like last year.
Just like last year with the 7. And I have some sources that say that the modems will top out at 600 megabits a second, which, 600 megabits a second, which is, far short in LTE capability of the gigabit LTE that we're seeing on some of the top Android phones right now. But it's as fast as that Intel modem will go. So once again, they're throttling the Qualcomm modem to the same capabilities to make sure that there's no difference in the experience with the two versions.
Okay. And do we have any idea of bands yet, or?
Yes, we do. They have a list. Let's go down to tech specs. Which model?
10?
Well, yeah, we want to talk about the 10, right?
Everyone wants to talk about the 10.
Everybody wants to talk about the 10. The iPhone 8's already old hat. It's 2 minutes old and it's old hat.
It was here.
Okay. The iPhone 8 will sell very well, mark my words. Okay, we mocked the iPhone 8, but that's just because it is in the shadow of this glory at the moment. So here's your two models, and there's the bands. And you see there's your one model that has your CDMA and your TDS CDMA, which is a China thing. And your bands, 66, no 71. And then you have your other model, which is the Intel modem, probably, and that has no CDMA. And this is the same throughout the line, the 8, the 8 Plus, the X. Any more questions out there? Okay. So when are these coming out again? When do they go on pre-sale?
Pre-orders for the iPhone 8 should start mid-September, and it will ship like the week after that. Pre-orders for the iPhone...
the 15th and the 22nd, right?
Right, yeah. Okay. The pre-orders for the iPhone 10 start in late October, and will start shipping in mid-November.
Yes.
So that is definitely a production issue, right?
Yeah, I think they are struggling to produce these high-end devices at the quantities that they know people are going to want them, because I think even at $9.99, a lot of people are going to be paying over 24-month service plans. It'll just be an extra $10 a month. People just say, I'll pay an extra $10 a month for my iPhone to be this pretty.
Right.
Yeah, and for the magic and for emojis that make my expressions.
Animated emojis.
I would not underestimate the stickiness of the animojis.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, looks like we have another question.
One last one. How much do you think it'll cost to replace the iPhone X's OLED display?
Like $500.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It costs around $400 for the S7 and S8 at the Samsung to replace that. It'll be around like $400 or $500.
OLED displays are scary expensive. That is because there is a global shortage of OLED display manufacturing availability. Samsung and LG, who are the only makers of OLED displays, are currently selling every OLED display they can make frantically. And so it's a hard technology to get a hold of, and it's going to be a couple of years before more bunch of new plants that they're designing come online, and then in maybe 2 years, the OLED display pipeline gets a lot wider.
Right. And I assume they use their best panels for their own flagships.
Well, I don't know. I've heard that Apple is paying Samsung a premium to get really good panels for their iPhones, because Apple, whatever you say about Apple, they have a reputation for quality builds, and they have a reputation for using components well, at least since the whole AntennaGate fiasco years ago. They learned their lesson. These are going to be well-built phones, I'm sure. Any more questions out there?
All good.
Okay. Well, thank you all for sticking with us, if you did in fact stick with us. This has been Dialed In, talking about the new Apple announcements, the Apple Watch Series 3, the 4K Apple TV, the iPhone 8, the iPhone 8 Plus, and the iPhone 10. Not X, it's 10. We will see you back here tomorrow at 10 a.m. with One Cool Thing on Facebook. We'll talk to you then.